a lot of acne sufferers are like, okay, I have a salicylic acid cleanser. I have an AHA, BHA mask that I do. And then I have a exfoliating serum I put on. And then I have this, and we're just stripping our skin. You're wrecking your skin barrier, you're wrecking your skin microbiome. Really, if we can be looking at eating consistent meals, eating enough food in the day. So many women, especially in perimenopause, they're not eating enough calories. They're not eating enough protein. So we need these foods to help with our blood sugar.
Hey, everybody. We've had some of the most incredible guests coming to you these past couple of months. The amount of expertise and knowledge on these cutting edge topics is something we really hope that you enjoy. And if you do, it would make a huge difference to us if you could rate, review, and subscribe the podcast. It helps us to get more guests, better experts, and talk about all of the things that are really important to you. So give us a love, give us a lot of love, and don't forget to subscribe so you get all our new episodes. Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Thick Thighs Save Lives podcast. I have such an incredible episode for you today. Katie Stewart is here, and she is our resident skin guru. She is going to give you everything and anything you've ever wondered about your biggest organ. And we're so happy to have her here. So welcome, Katie.
Thank you. I love getting to come on podcasts. It's always such a fun time.
Katie is a registered holistic nutritionist and the founder of Katie Stewart Wellness. The message here is that healthy skin starts from within. And she's got an all-female client team. An all-female team. And you guys walk through clients through the Clear Skin solution.
Correct.
So I want to talk to you for a second about, first of all, you have a podcast also, the Clear Skin Chronicles.
We actually just rebranded it last week to Keep It Clear. Yeah, we were like, you want to know what? It's not fitting anymore, so we're changing it to Keep It Clear.
I love that. Yeah. So I definitely recommend, if you guys want to dive deeper into this, that you hit up Katie's podcast because it's excellent. But the first thing that I want to do is talk a little bit about your background, because you got into wellness kind of as a result of your own personal struggles with your skin and just feeling hopeless on it. Can you talk a little bit about that?
For sure. So my previous career, I actually spent 14 years working in television. So I worked for Hockey Night in Canada, which, if you're not from Canada, it's our biggest national broadcast for the NHL. I was working behind the scenes. So I'm working with celebrities and NHL players and television executives. And I was also working another television job where my face was on an HD camera every single day. I'm interviewing people in the community. And in my early 20s, I decided to switch my birth control over, from the pill to the IUD. My girlfriend was like, oh my gosh, it's the best. You don't have to remember to take a pill every day. So I switch it, and my perfectly clear skin now started to get what I like to call braille-like acne on my forehead, the tops of my cheeks, down the sides of my chin. And I went back to my doctor a month later and said, hey, like, something is going on here. I want you to take the IUD out. And she goes, no, there's no way that changing your birth control would have any impact on your skin. Birth control doesn't impact skin. And I said, well, I disagree. Take it out, put me back on the pill. Things got even worse because now basically you're just going on a roller coaster with your hormones. And I started getting cystic acne on my cheeks, on my jawline, on my chin, the tops of my shoulders, my back, even the backs of my arms. And I'm working in television. It's a very visual medium. And I was feeling so insecure, so self-conscious about my skin. And I was wearing tons of heavy TV makeup to cover it up. And like, no one ever made me feel bad about my skin, but I was just always thinking about it. And this was probably circa back in 2011, and I got assigned to work on a gluten-free cooking show. I'd never heard of gluten in my life. Like, I grew up eating fettuccine Alfredo and pizza and pasta and chicken fingers or pierogies. And I remember going to this shoot for this show. I'm like, this lady is nuts. Like, there's no way that gluten does anything to your body. But I got curious and I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to remove it for a little while. And my lifelong migraines I'd had since kindergarten went away, that I was taking like a prescription for. I ended up finding out I was celiac. And then I started to experiment, well, what happens if I take out dairy? My stomach aches that I'd had since a little kid went away. And that really clicked in my brain saying, oh my gosh, the food that I'm eating is actually impacting my body. I had no idea there was a link to my skin yet. I thought I just hadn't found the right cleanser at Sephora, hadn't tried the right antibiotic from my doctor, and I couldn't figure it out. And when I went back to school to study nutrition, and my very first nutrition textbook, there was a paragraph on the birth control pill and acne. And that was the very first time that I had ever kind of connected the two. And that's from that day on, I was obsessed over all things acne and internal healing.
Wow, that is so interesting. I love that you did you met the lady through the cooking show
Yeah,
and just was like,
I'll try
she
it.
seems a little crazy, but what's it gonna harm? And
Let's try it.
oh, that's so funny. Um, I'm wondering about, we often hear people talk about skin as our biggest organ.
Mm-hmm.
And do you believe that the condition of our skin is an indicator or any kind of reflection of our overall health? Like, is our
Mm-hmm.
skin trying to tell us something about our health?
100%. I think the two best windows you have into your body is your skin and your bowel movements. These are two areas that are able to tell you a lot about what's going on. And if we are breaking out in acne, but maybe you get eczema, maybe you have psoriasis, maybe you have rashes, there's so many different skin conditions that can be happening. Maybe you have topical fungal rashes that pop up in the humidity. All of this is an indicator that something is going on inside. It's almost like a road flare from your body saying, "Hey, like something is off in here that you need to pay attention."
That's really interesting. I think that, you know, going back to your story about, switching up your hormonal birth control and then
Mhm.
seeing an immediate, was that the first signal that you had from your body of like, no,
Yeah.
thank you?
Absolutely was because probably looking back, I had stomach aches as a kid and chronic migraines and allergies, but I thought that was just part of being a human being. I thought that was the hand I was dealt. You have no option. And I kind of just like so many people, right? Like especially women
Yeah.
think that they have to feel like crap, that they have to be tired every morning. They have to drink 3 cups of coffee to get through their day. They don't get to sleep. It's just part of being a woman, part of being a mom, part of getting older when our bodies are not designed to feel like that and we've just accepted it as a normal part of society.
I'm all here for like, that's over now. We're not
Hmm.
accepting that. It's not
No
good
longer.
enough.
Mm-mm.
It is not good enough. Um, Regarding skin issues or non-issues,
Hmm.
sort of being genetic, we hear a lot of people say, like, oh, I have acne. My mom had acne. It's just my oily skin runs in my family. Or the opposite, like, oh, I've always had really good skin and I don't really do anything. Must be genetic. Is there like, do we have a lot of control over the condition of our skin, or
Absolutely.
is a lot of it just kind of coming from things that are out of our control?
We have a ton of control over our skin. And I think a lot of people that's been the narrative they've been told for so long by the medical system is that it's genetic. Could you have a higher genetic predisposition to developing acne? Should certain lifestyle habits come into play? Absolutely. But we also have to look at what are the lifestyle habits of the family. So is it genetic or is it their lifestyle that has become the trigger? Because a lot of families, if they're growing up eating that standard North American diet, they've taken a lot of antibiotics, they're drinking a lot of like soda, or they're eating a lot of refined carbohydrates and sugars and all of these things. It's growing up in that household that can also cause that trigger. Because we have clients where they have identical twins. One twin is perfectly clear skin and the other twin has severe cystic acne. So it really comes down to what have you been exposed to? And I like to say that your current health status is an accumulation of everything that's happened from conception in the womb up until this moment in time. So when you think back over, the last few decades, what type of illnesses did you have? Did you pick up a parasite somewhere? What kind of medications have you taken? Have you had different emotional traumas, different stressors? There's so much to take into consideration.
That is a ton to take into consideration. And thinking about our skin as kind of like a marker
Hmm.
of the life we've been
Yeah.
living from conception to now is a really eye-opening kind of view. Um, so we have a good amount of control. I think that is a good thing. I feel
Hmm.
good about it.
It's
I would
empowering to
rather,
know that you
yeah,
can. Yeah.
I would rather say like, okay, this is under my control.
Mhm.
So nutritionally,
Mhm.
are there certain foods that can trigger skin conditions, breakouts,
Mhm.
acne, and how big of a role is what we're eating having on our skin?
I think it plays an absolutely huge role. Again, this is the fuel that's fueling your body. It's like putting diesel into a gas engine. We want to be making sure that we're putting the right food in. And when it comes down to nutrition, there's food. I think a lot of time in our society, we look at foods as good or bad. Where if we pull back from that and say, okay, foods aren't inherently bad, like whole foods, but sometimes they may trigger. That's not to say they cause acne, but they could be triggering it. So, for a lot of acne sufferers and the clients that we work with, they have poor gut health. A lot of them are dealing with leaky gut. When you have leaky gut, that can develop into a symptom of a food sensitivity. And this is where specific foods can be triggers, which will trigger inflammation for acne to pop up. So, some of the biggest triggers that we do see for our clients is going to be gluten, conventional dairy, refined sugar, and even vegetable oils. Sugar and vegetable oils are more so that they just promote more inflammation in the body, which leads to acne. And then the gluten and conventional dairy are going to be more that they're irritating the gut lining, leading to inflammation.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone link inflammation to acne before.
Oh, it's like the core root driver.
That is so eye-opening and in so many ways like obvious,
Hmm.
but we think of inflammation as something that's happening inside and sort of internal struggles as a result of it, like, poor gut health, feeling like achy and just internally
Hmm.
not feeling great, but it makes total sense that it would show literally on our faces.
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely.
Quick interruption, guys. We are always talking about the importance of community to help you along your journey, to keep you motivated, to surround you with like minded people. And we have a massive, massive community to do just that. If you haven't already, get in our fitness group on Facebook, Fitness Programming by CVG. Get on our app, CVG Nation. We've got hundreds of thousands of women on there who are just waiting to cheer you on. And we cannot wait to meet you. Get with us on our channels. We love to see you there. Okay, so hormones.
Yes.
Inflammation is definitely going to show on your skin. What about hormonal imbalances? Are you seeing a lot of people that are coming to you struggling with
Hmm.
their hormones?
So every client pretty much that comes in, they're like, Katie, I have hormonal acne. And my answer is always yes, and you have hormonal acne. And we have to be looking at what is driving the hormonal acne because when we work with the client, we look at our 5 acne clearing pillars: gut health, detoxification, hormones, nervous system, and nourishing skincare. A lot of people don't realize that a health of our hormones heavily rely on gut health and detoxification health. So, for example, our gut is actually responsible for manufacturing, regulating a lot, and metabolizing a lot of our hormones, including our estrogen. And there's a unique subset of microbes in our gut called the estrobolome. If your gut isn't balanced, guess what? Your estrogen is going to struggle as well. So this could be leaning you towards more estrogen dominance. But you've been taking all these period gummies and dim supplements, hoping that that would clear up your skin, but it didn't because your issue is actually in your gut. And then if we look at detoxification, our detoxification systems, like our liver, one of its 500 functions in the body is helping to filter out hormones. And then if our colon, which helps to excrete our stool, actually helps to excrete excess toxins and hormones like estrogen, if we're not having daily healthy bowel movements, those hormones can end up back in circulation. So really, our hormonal acne could be stemming from poor detoxification clearance, poor gut health. So that's why we need to like kind of go a little bit more upstream to see what's happening.
Do you think so? I'm thinking of like two major points in women's lives, at
Hmm.
all people really, where they might see their skin have major changes. And one is obviously puberty.
Yes.
Um, can you talk a little bit about the shifts in hormones that
Mhm.
happen during puberty, how much of that is linked to what's happening in the gut, and how much control do really like developing bodies have over what is going to happen hormonally and then
Mhm.
show on their skin?
What's really interesting about the teens is, of course, we always think acne in teens. When they go through puberty, it happens. Of course, hormones are going to be playing into that. But a lot of us only look at the sex hormones, the estrogen, the progesterone, the androgens like testosterone. We forget that we have over 50 different hormones in the body, including insulin for blood sugar and cortisol, our stress hormone. So when our blood sugar goes on a joyride, and that could be that typical teen diet where they're eating, fast food and cereal in the morning and a pizza at lunchtime, this is all going to be impacting their blood sugar, which is going to have a domino effect, impact their androgens, increase oil production, which leads to clogged pores and more breakouts, all because their blood sugar levels were imbalanced, and it's just impacting that fine-tuned hormonal orchestra. And if we're looking at cortisol, the same thing. If we're stressed from school or friendships or like all of the things teens have to deal with these days on social media, that's naturally going to be impacting their cortisol, which again is increasing the sebum production, that sticky, oily substance that clogs pores, increasing it, clogging pores, leading to breakouts. So I want people to start to realize that it's not just about the sex hormones, to start looking at blood sugar, start looking at the cortisol, and then also looking at, what did they grow up eating? Was it the standard North American diet? Did they take a lot of medications? Is there gut health? Because a lot of our teen clients that we have, we see really big candida overgrowth, which is a yeast that naturally lives on and in the body that can overgrow. And we also see big blood sugar imbalances.
That makes complete sense. And the thought that like the worst my skin personally has ever looked was also right along the same time as like I get my license and I can just like go and get fast food
Yeah.
whenever I want.
You're like living your best life. Yeah.
It was my best life, but it
Mhm.
was not. My face was just so showing all
Yeah,
of the things, and school lunch and all of
of
these like
course.
ridiculous nutritional choices. Like
Yeah.
I absolutely remember on a regular basis having Doritos and chocolate chip cookies for lunch,
Oh,
like every day.
100%. Yeah. We didn't know better back then. There was no social media.
I
We
think
just
if someone had said, though, that is affecting your skin,
Mhm.
because you think, you don't feel it in the way
Yeah,
of like energy and something, your kid, like you're just going to be
you're
able to
not
keep
thinking.
going.
Yeah,
But if someone had said that is definitely affecting your skin, I might have second
might have
guessed
listened.
those choices.
Yeah. I think I ate goldfish and chocolate chip cookies for my lunch every day.
What were we
Yeah.
doing?
I'm not like, my parents are still shocked I'm a nutritionist. Still shocked.
I'm thinking of the other point in which
Mhm.
people are experiencing some hormonal shifts and seeing it all over their skin, which is people entering menopause, perimenopause.
Mhm.
They've kind of had their 20s, 30s, maybe early 40s where they've had, a consistent skin.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, like it's going wild. What's going
Yeah.
on there?
We have so many perimenopause clients, and it's so interesting because they're like, I'm dealing with fine lines and acne at the same time. Like, what sweet hell is this? This is awful. I just want to deal with the fine lines, okay? And when we're looking at perimenopause, we're looking at those hormonal shifts, right? We're looking at our estrogens dropping, our progesterone shifting, which can naturally lead to the breakouts popping up. And then again, I know I keep bringing it up, but the blood sugar is another really big component. Is a lot of women going through perimenopause, their blood sugar is a mess, especially if they're, spent most of their 30s and they've been caregivers. Maybe they have kids or parents they're taking care of, so they're skipping breakfast and relying on coffee for 2 of 3 meals a day, and they're the yes person, so they're saying yes to everybody, and they're burnt out and chronically stressed, and their blood sugar and cortisol is also just a mess because of like the last decade that they've been living their lifestyle. So really, if we can be looking at eating consistent meals, eating enough food in the day. So many women, especially in perimenopause, they're not eating enough calories, they're not eating enough protein, so we need these foods to help with our blood sugar.
Oh, I love that. Eat more protein.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Every woman, eat more protein. Um, okay, so you've mentioned a lot about testing clients when they come in,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to like really get into that for a second. You use functional testing as an integral step in helping your clients
Mm-hmm.
get to the skin that they are
Mm-hmm.
looking for. What does the testing involve? What are you looking for? What are most people showing that is consistent?
Yeah, so every client that comes into the Clear Skin Solution, we actually run a hair trace mineral analysis with them. So we want to be knowing exactly what's happening within their body because so many acne sufferers have trial and errored most of their life. They've added to cart, they've spent, like personally, I spent $10,000 over a 5 year period, which if you do the math is about $175 a month. That is so easy to do for your skin as a woman or an acne sufferer. So we want to know exactly what's happening. We run a hair trace mineral analysis. And what's really great about a hair trace mineral analysis is from a like bird's eye view, you think, oh, it's just looking at minerals, like they're deficient in calcium and they have too much zinc, when that's not at all what we're looking at. So we're not just supplementing based on what the minerals are saying. We're actually looking at the mineral levels themselves, which can say, hey, is there maybe possible low stomach acid because we're not absorbing these nutrients right? Is there some adrenal imbalances here? Because based on this mineral ratio, can we see that there is maybe some yeast interference going on? Like for one example, like if we're looking at the calcium magnesium ratio, this can be, indicating, is there some blood sugar instability, right? Are we struggling with some potential insulin resistance, like not diabetes, but just the mechanisms of how your body's using these sugars? So we're able to get a really incredible comprehensive picture of the imbalances in the body and what needs to be fixed. So then that way, when we work with our clients, we're like, okay, these are the foods you need to eat. These are the supplements you need to take to actually clear up your skin.
That is so interesting. The idea of supplementing nutritionally.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that, I think you're just super ahead of the game because I just don't think that that is common knowledge because we are just still stuck topically
Mm-hmm.
on, what can I rub on my face
Yeah.
that will help this. But the idea of like, hey, we're looking at mineral deficiencies here and what
Mm-hmm.
you are and are not absorbing is amazing.
Mm-hmm. It really gives us a lot of information. And like we do other functional testing with clients if they need a GI map that looks at their microbiome or a Dutch test to look at their hormones. But a hair trace mineral analysis just really sets the stage and can actually give us about 9 months worth of recommendations to work on.
So then once you have their results, then you're sort of making an individualized plan.
Mm-hmm.
And are you supplementing or are you head on nutrition and then like
It's
re
yeah. It's always individualized. So
okay.
we've worked with well over 3,000 clients all over the world. And I can honestly say not a single one of them have had the exact same journey as the other, right? Like maybe they're both it's like similar. They're doing a Candida style protocol, but they have different supplements because there isn't a blanket way to fix acne. Everyone's always like, Katie, what supplements do I need to take? And I say, I don't know because I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on in your body. It's not like you're going to follow the BuzzFeed articles that says take zinc, omega-3 probiotics and you're good to go. It's not as simple as that. So we really need to be individualizing it to the client because acne doesn't have just one common root cause. And then when we individualize it, we include nutrition. So we always look at what is the right foods to be eating. Do we need to hold off on certain foods for a temporary short-term period? We introduce natural supplementation. So we want to make sure the supplements are right for the body. And then we also include lifestyle habits because a lot of people overlook lifestyle habits like sleeping, reducing stress, chewing your food well, eating enough food in the day. Like we want to be making sure that we have that foundation in place because you can't out supplement a bad lifestyle.
Oh, I'm not just breaking out because I'm sweating a lot at the gym.
No, unfortunately not. Well, I guess, yeah, unfortunately not, because that would be easier to fix.
So, okay. This is an inside out kind of
Mm-hmm.
and I'm here for that and I love it and I think it's
Mm-hmm.
extremely refreshing. Is there anything topical
Yes.
that you would recommend? Is there anything that's actually out there making a difference
Mm-hmm.
that should be part of the nutrition and the supplements?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Tell
like
us.
I'm a big skincare girly. Like I add to cart all the things. I have way too much skincare. Like I put myself in that bucket. So it's like the blind leading the blind here. But this nourishing skincare is the last pillar of the clear skin solution method. We actually have an on-staff esthetician that the clients are able to work with that can help with their routines and put together different products and different ingredients. And again, it's going to be very individualized. There isn't one skincare routine for every single person out there. We have multiple different ways. Like there's some really great brands that we love to work with. Like we love Clear Stem. They're a great female-owned brand for the millennial woman of the acne and anti-aging. They've been on my podcast a few times. They're wonderful. Their products are fantastic. Here in Canada, Three Ships is a great company. Then if you're looking for more medical grade, like we love Osmosis and cosmetics, like there's some really great brands out there. And again, there's tons. Those are just off the top of my head. But we want to be making sure that you are cleansing. You are like at the bare minimum, we need to cleanse, moisturize, and in SPF. Let's cleanse, hydrate, SPF. If you want to add in a serum, which would be your treatment step, that's very specific. Maybe you want a mandelic acid or you want a niacinamide or hyaluronic acid. So we would be cleansing to help, clean the skin. And if you wear makeup or SPF every day, at the end of the day, let's maybe consider a double cleanse where you're using a simple oil-based cleanser to break that down. Then you're going in with your regular water-based cleanser. Then you're using your treatment of choice. So that's niacinamides, the hyaluronic acids, all of those. And then you're going to be hydrating because a lot of people, especially if they have oily skin, they think, oh my gosh, I can't moisturize because it's going to make me oilier. When in fact, if our skin senses dehydration, it's going to kick in sebum production. So it's going to increase oil production. So using a moisturizer that's suited for your skin, like if you have oily skin, maybe like a light gel would be better. If you have dry skin, maybe a thicker, heavier cream. Maybe you live in Canada like I do. So in the winter, you're needing a stronger moisturizer. And then we want to be using an SPF to protect our skin during the day, because it's also not only is it helping with anti-aging, but it's going to be preventing the dark marks left over from acne.
I'm really so glad that you said that piece about your skin sensing dehydration and then sending in more oil. It makes so much sense. But I cannot tell you the amount of times I personally, in my younger days, have avoided things like SPF because I thought it would make me break out. Yeah. Every time I put sunscreen on my face, it makes me break out. So never mind with that.
Well, it could be. It's just you need to look for ingredients or the products that are non-comedogenic that are specific for the face, because your average SPF probably will clog your pores. But if you're looking for a non-comedogenic like facial SPF, you're good to go.
Hey, you.
Thanks for getting in touch with the Thick Thighs Save Lives podcast.
We love your questions and adore hearing from you.
Leave us a hello,
a burning question,
feedback,
or anything else you want to share with us on the podcast.
We will play your message live on air if we can.
Thanks for being an amazing friend. Stay safe and moving.
So when it comes to like our skincare routine, there are a lot of people, especially women who are in this in between with their hormones, where they're saying, I have the special help of the fine lines. Yeah. I want to really treat that part. And then when I use heavy moisturizers and things that are like that say they're good for wrinkles, then I'm breaking out.
Yeah. I know. It's like, what ingredients do we need? So for my millennial and higher women, and again, I'm a millennial, so I'm in my anti-aging era, can we be looking for ingredients like a retinol? So we all know retinol with an OL at the end, but it can be very drying in the beginning, very purging. But a retinol is actually one step closer in the conversion process. So when you put on a retinol, it needs 2 more steps for your skin to be able to use it. A retinol is one step closer, so it only needs 1 step to convert. So it's not as irritating. You're not going to get the drying, purging. It's stronger, more potent as well. And it can be really great for helping with skin cell turnover. It's a perfect ingredient for fine lines, but it's also good for acne sufferers because it's gentle enough for the acne sufferers.
Oh, that's that's awesome. I'm so glad because I think all of us have had our run with retinol and experienced some of the drying and the burning and felt like, oh my God, is this what I need to do? Do I need to be in pain?
Get the retinol. It ends in AL. It'll also be a retinaldehyde serum.
And that's a serum that goes on before the moisturizer.
It goes after cleansing, before moisturizing.
So are we exfoliating? If so, how often? I feel like I overdo it.
Yeah. So with exfoliation, anywhere from 1 to 3 times a week is okay, but we have to be cautious of not overusing exfoliants because a lot of acne sufferers are like, okay, I have a salicylic acid cleanser, I have an AHA BHA mask that I do, and then I have a exfoliating serum I put on, and then I have this, and we're just stripping our skin. You're wrecking your skin barrier, you're wrecking your skin microbiome. So can we pull it back to maybe you're doing your AHA BHA serum 1 to 3 times a week, depending on your skin. And we're not, making sure we have acids in every step. And when it comes to exfoliation, if you are acne prone, a chemical exfoliant like the AHA or BHA is better because it's like eating away the dead skin to exfoliate.
Okay.
Where a physical exfoliant, which I like to say the scrubbies, it's my technical term, is any of the scrubbies, those are going to be irritating acne skin and can potentially break open any of the pimples themselves and spread bacteria across the face. So just hold off on the physical exfoliants and reach for one of the chemical exfoliants.
The little patches that you put.
Yes. Pimple patches. They're great.
Are we doing that? Yes.
We're doing them. Yes, they're great.
Okay.
And like making sure, you have a good quality one, because a lot of them can have some crappy ingredients. So just, again, being a detective and reading it. But I love a good pimple patch because a lot of people are pickers, right? They'll want to pick at it. So if we put a pimple patch on, we're not going to be picking at it.
Honestly just put something in between me and the thing, and that will help me. But if nothing's there, they're so creepy.
I know, they creep wrap.
I'm just gonna. It's just real quick. I'll use a
tool.
Real
quick. Yeah, I'll be fine.
Is that
it
better?
Won't irritate it this time.
This time,
this time's different.
Okay, so if we were looking at keeping some sort, do you usually recommend that clients keep some sort of a food journal when it comes to like associating certain food? If we're not sure if our diet is a big part of why we're suffering skin wise, should we be keeping some kind of a...
Yeah, they can be really helpful. Really, because it's hard, right? Because a food intolerance can actually take up to 72 hours to appear. So how are you supposed to remember all of that information? So if you keep a food journal, maybe on your phone or written somewhere, and you just write it down, like what you're eating in the day. And then throughout the day, you're commenting like how you're feeling physically, mentally, emotionally, and then do this over a 2-week period. And then you can kind of read through and start to pull things back. Like, oh, okay, this time when I ate ice cream, I found that I was like the next 3 days later, I was getting a bad breakout or I had a really bad migraine. You can start to really be a detective for yourself.
For my anti-aging ladies, we've seen a lot, and actually I have seen some targeted towards acne as well, where we're promoting like red light therapy.
Love red light, yeah.
So, okay. So are we doing that? And is it worth the money? And is there better ones that we should be spending money on than others?
Yeah, because they're so popular, right? And I love red light therapy. I've been using red light therapy for probably close to like 6 or 7 years now. Because I think it has so many uses, like not just your skin, but like your mitochondrial health, inflammation, joint pain, muscle pain. So I think one of the biggest changes I've made in my millennial skin is adding in one of the red light masks. It's been a game changer for me. I use Current Bodies. It's fantastic. I love that it actually has a chin strap underneath. So anybody that deals with like the jawline acne is fantastic. They have the neck and the chest as well. And they do a red light. So that's going to be really great for anti-aging, collagen production, hyperpigmentation. If you have acne specifically, is looking for a blue light. And Current Body actually has an acne mask that has red and blue light. So you're getting like two birds, one stone. You're getting the blue light that kills the bacteria, and then you're getting the red light that heals and helps with the collagen formation.
Oh, and you just have to look like a psycho killer for a couple minutes. I mean,
it's 10 minutes. My kids and husband are just used to me doing the most ridiculous things. So it doesn't even faze them anymore. Even my dogs didn't even care.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Do you have an SPF that you recommend for acne prone people? Because those are my people that are definitely skipping it.
Absolutely. So Clear Stem, they make a really great one. UR Sunshine SPF 50, and they have the liquid, but they also have the mineral powder touch-up brush. Another brand I love, Color Science. They like their color match is really, really great. Like no matter your skin tone, whether it's super fair, super dark, they have a great one. And when it comes out, it looks fairly light. You're like, there's no way, and then it blends in. That one's really great because again, they have the liquid and they have the brush on SPF. And then another brand that you can get in Sephora would be Supergoop, but specifically their mineral matte. It's a very specific one. So Supergoop's mineral matte.
Um, if it's mixed with a foundation,
Mm-hmm.
is it still doing the thing that we want? Like if we're having, okay, you've got tinted moisturizer that also has an SPF, or if
Mm-hmm.
you've got moisturizer that also has an SPF, is that enough, or do we need like a specific, this is just the SPF?
I think if you're getting like a tinted moisturizer with SPF, whether it's like, I see so many, they're like SPF 15, 30, I even see SPF at 50. I think that's totally fine. In the summertime, that's generally what I wear because I don't like to wear like a heavier foundation in the summer. Just a nice tinted SPF is fantastic. It's like looking at the level of the SPF would be great. So if you could get like, maybe SPF 30 around there or higher would be great. I think that's totally fine.
So if you had sort of one piece of advice and you could snap your fingers, like everybody would employ this tomorrow and they would all see benefits in their skin from doing this, what would you want every woman to do starting tomorrow?
Oh, there's so many ways I go. I'm like, do I want them to balance their blood sugar or do I want them to eat more? I think just I would put focusing on anti-inflammatory nutrition, like really watching where you're getting that excess sugar and the alcohol. And I'm literally like, Katie, that's all the fun stuff. I know, I'm sorry, but I'm going to be the bad guy. I'm going to put it out there. Is really focusing on the anti-inflammatory nutrition, and just eating enough food in the day. Like we want to be making sure we're not fatigued, we don't have low energy, and like those things can make such a big difference.
So I'm going to say it then. Are crash diets having a negative effect on our skin?
Yeah, I think the issue is with social media, there's a bajillion and one ways to eat. They're like, I need to be a carnivore. I need to do keto. I need to drink celery juice. I need to do this. I need to do that. And there isn't one way of eating for every human being on the face of the earth. What works for you is not going to work for me. We have to find what works for ourselves. And when it comes to the right foods to be eating, this is why we love functional testing, because if we get a client's results back and we're like, hey, you got some candida going on. Like we need to put in some antimicrobial supplements. We need to focus on an anti-candida diet. That's going to be a very specific way of eating, but we don't want to go and just jump on like a SIBO diet if you don't have SIBO. Like we don't want to be doing things we don't need to be doing. So I think this is where testing can be really helpful. So you know exactly what you need to be doing.
I'm just so here for the new wave of everyone is an individual. I feel like we did so many years in the health and wellness space of just like, this is what you need. And it was a one size fits all. And it kept changing because first we needed the carnivore diet, then we needed keto, then we all needed this topical skin thing. It's just so refreshing to hear leaders in their field out there being like, no, I'm going to talk to you and see what you need.
Absolutely. Like we have some clients who are like, well, I want to do the carnivore diet. I'm like, well, sure, it can be great for some people, but you have really low stomach acid. So you're not even breaking your protein down. And then we have other clients who are like, oh, I want to go and do a plant-based or vegan diet, but then they have issues that way. So it's like really finding the individualized approach.
And what an amazing, hopeful thing that not only can we heal our skin from within, but also that we have a tremendous amount of power and control over how our skin is appearing to the world. Because I just think it's one of those things where people just feel so hopeless and so just like unlucky. I got this bad skin. It's gone bad. It's expired. I hate it. That's my luck of the draw. And just hearing that there's an alternative is, I think it's a really hopeful thing.
Absolutely.
Katie, where can our listeners hear more from you? Where can they get in touch with you? And if they do want to go ahead and get some functional testing, where are we doing this?
So they can come check us out online at Katie Stewart Wellness is my Instagram. I answer all my DMs myself. So if you got questions, just pop on in there. You can check us out on our website, katiestewartwellness.com. That has all the different ways to work with us in the Clear Skin Solution, get functional testing. And then you can come hang out with my podcast co-host and I, Chris, on Keep It Clear. We're the #1 nutrition podcast on Apple. So we've got a good amount of stuff to share with you.
I love that. And I definitely highly recommend the Instagram. I think it's got tons of great information and just like a really good jumping off point where you can feel like you trust the information that's being given. So
yeah,
Katie, thank you so much. This was such a great deep dive into our skin. And I think everybody's going to benefit from this.
Thanks so much. It was so much fun.